another question.
Are we that bad?
How about a quick verse of The Road Leads to Nowhere? Ready?
Okay, well, it's been nice, ladies.
Leads to nowhere.
Ready?
You have all arrived.
Freddie's going to do the
What do you
talking
guys
for all of
want?
us, so.
Ask a question. Want us to talk?
Ready? You're chasing people away, okay?
Good, good. All of you leave. It's costing us money. We're all broke old people.
You don't even know who we are.
Who are we?
Tell us who you are.
Last
You guys
House
don't
on
know
the
who we
Left.
are.
We did Wes Craven's first horror film. We were the original. Chainsaw Massacre ripped us off, and all the others did. We were the first.
No, Chainsaw Massacre sawed us off.
You really do love us. I like that. Yes, they really do love us. Mark, say something.
Why?
That's enough. Okay.
You're doing well, Fred.
Any questions?
Aren't you surprised we're all still alive after some years? Come on. It was a long time ago.
Does anybody remember the movie?
No, they're all too young.
We got some people up there.
Has everybody here seen it?
It's terrible, isn't it?
Does anyone
Okay.
here remember Jack Parr?
When you watched the movie, did you think, you know, when it comes to like a question and answer thing like this,
This is
maybe,
serious.
what?
This is serious.
No. Maybe think of a question that you had like, why are these idiots making this picture? Why, how did they do this? How would this happen?
I can
Please.
tell you why.
Originally supposed to be like a porno movie?
Yes.
or-
No, not when I got involved.
No, wait a minute. I always thought it was a porno movie.
No, I read something that initially, like Cunningham and
Fred, answer that question.
Yeah, Fred
Are
was
you
involved.
crazy? I'm out of here.
Yeah. Before we ever got involved.
We are artists, not makers of smart. Jeez.
This man has
You
made
make a couple of
2,000
movies.
porno films.
Who the hell knew that? It was all hidden camera
Yeah, it
stuff.
was originally called Sex Crime of the Century.
Right, yeah.
Yes.
And it was a very, very hardcore script. And what happened was,
They hired a lot of criminals who didn't want to do it again.
they hired, what happened, what really happened was they had this idea, they had this script that had a lot of hardcore sex in it, and they started casting, and they settled on us, and kind of realized that they had actors who were better than that material, and who didn't want to do that, but would be willing to do something that, you know, not so much with the graphic violence. Well, none of us wanted to do
Well, the
sex,
first script
although I
said
could
that
have
I
used
cut
it,
their
you
tits
know,
off and
but
ate them.
Really?
And he promised, when I said
Can I extrapolate on this whole thing?
West
The original concept was to hire a porno group, which is what happened during those days. You would go out and you'd pay $35,000. You get 7 porno actors in, and they do it in 7 days, and they fuck and they'd suck and they'd do violence, etc., like that, and they'd leave. And then you had your film, and you went on to the next, and the porno group went on to the next, and you went and edited it. The porno group fell out of
That were the
bed.
good old days, man.
Well, they
In
fell out.
reality, what they're
They
not
fell out of
telling you
bed,
is,
and they fell out of Fred.
I was the
And
only
Fred
one.
decided he wanted to stay there.
I was the only one that could get it up. And it wasn't enough to substantiate the.
Harry Reeves was hired, didn't want to do it.
Really?
Yeah.
Is that true?
That's true.
Harry
Absolutely.
Reeves?
Yep,
He had your
absolutely.
part.
Yeah, that's true.
He had my part.
He was Sadie.
And so, gradually, people came in, like Mark said, that were actors, and they said, yes, we'd love to do the film, we'll do a P for violence, but we will not do a P for porno. You know? And that-
P? We weren't P. We were R.
or R for porno, excuse me.
R for
R for
Rough.
revelation. What?
Off from Ralph.
Correction.
For erection, right?
record breaking.
And that's the way the film was born.
Rain. R for rain.
I gotta get back to my smut world.
Everybody was
It's a
stoned
lot
on the
simpler.
set. We had a great time. It was a real love-in, and we made one of the most violent films ever. So you figure that out.
Any questions?
What,
Yeah.
Oh,
go ahead.
There seems to be a rumor going around that the film was evolved from Bergman's Virgin Spring.
That's correct.
That's not a rumor, that's the
That's the
truth.
truth.
That's the truth.
That's the
the
truth.
theme of Bergman's movie is called Virgin Spring.
Yeah.
It's about a farm couple whose little girl makes her first communion. They give her a crucifix. She goes on the road by herself because the mother and father have to keep working. She gets captured by three
Bandits, road bandits.
who rape her and kill her.
And they find the
then
body.
They go down the road, and the parents
To
let
nowhere.
them come in. You know, because in those days you would take in people that were travelers, and the wife spots the
The
necklace,
crucifix.
and they killed the bad guys. The theme here, and it's the same theme in our movie, is that ours it didn't quite work because the mother and father weren't really that sympathetic. But the idea is that everyone is capable of this kind of violence given a certain situation.
Much like Peckinpah elaborated on in Straw Dogs.
How do you go from porno to Bergman?
Pardon me?
Yeah,
No,
that's
it's from Bergman to porno.
From Bergman to porno.
Well, because he ripped off the movie, and then the movie was supposed to be pretty much what it is.
The
Only
orig-
with hardcore sex. Actually, yeah, that's having sex with the bodies. Yeah.
The original Bergman film was adapted from a
sex
Norse saga.
with the
That's,
bodies.
that's a Norse Edda. It was
do
written
that,
sometime in
but
the
that was in the
14th century,
script.
so the story goes back about 600 or 700 years, maybe even longer than that. The first records that I saw of it were in the 14th century or 1300s.
Yeah, it's like an old Swedish folktale.
Right.
So nothing was shot with that original script, right?
No.
No.
Well, can you extrapolate on that?
The more explicit script. Nothing
Oh,
was ever shot.
We
well,
wish
all the
we
evil
had
violence
that
was shot.
Right,
There was
right,
stuff that
right.
was shot in there that was unbelievable. That they did, they had to cut it out. It started out as sex crime of the century.
It was me stabbing that poor girl.
There's
That's
a
the
balance,
missing.
there's-
Then it became then it became what, Krug and Company,
Krug and Company.
and then there was another one that was another title that was in there, and every single time they released it, they people would run out of the theater screaming, and they thought they had a bad film, so they changed the title and go to another town.
Who settled
You know?
on the
It was
title?
my friend Krug for a while.
Krug and Company.
Of Last House on
And then what happened was that this guy
Thanks,
came
Art.
up. This guy came up at Hallmark Releasing, who decided that they would four-wall it up in the New England area.
Tell him what four-walling means.
Four-walling means you put it in the theater and in individual theaters, and you get a piece of the gate.
Pretty much what's going on now
Right
for
now.
the movies, where you see movies in 200 theaters at once. Ours was the first movie to do that.
Yeah, ours was all
And
over
to
New York
use
City.
television advertising to bring people in.
But the
And
guy,
we got nothing.
the way
The
that
cool
this,
thing is, none of us got anything.
But we don't need money because
The way
we're
that-
all wealthy.
the way that it happened was that he came up with the idea: keep repeating yourself. Keep repeating to yourself. It's only a movie. It's only a movie. It's only a movie. And that really resonated with the audience. And that's what got him into the
Yes.
theater. And after that, it's just history. He was #1. Made $19 million in what, 2 or 3 weeks or something like that.
Made $55 million
All told,
altogether.
yeah. But I mean, $19 million the first 2 or 3 weeks. It was #1.
1972, that was. a
And we're
lot.
all wealthy because of it. You can see that.
We just come here to wear our old clothes. See?
In the back.
Holes and shit, man. I mean, it's awful.
Question goes to David. One of the things that Wes already hired you going, you already had your songwriting.
Yes.
Right. One of the things I noticed in the song, because I know as a lyric I refer to the characters, it has this very happy tone that goes on throughout it. I mean, was that a conscious decision? Because I know they're mentioning the characters and the names and all this in the Invincible.
Well, I can tell you how that happened. When I walked in, Marty Kove was the guy that got me in the film to begin with. I was doing a play off Broadway called Dark of the Moon. I played the witch boy, so I was like, it was a 180-degree turn for me. I had the only film I'd ever done was the Molly Maguires, and they paid me 6 weeks to play rugby, which was a lot of fun. No lines, just playing rugby. And Marty got me in there, and it was hot that day, and we drove down in my sister's station wagon because he was living with my sister at the time, and he put 16 sweaters on me, literally, actually 5 sweaters, the last one which was an Irish knit. And he did this because he said I wasn't big enough for the role. And by the time I got there, I was a raving maniac, and I ran up the stairs. I started screaming my head off, which I'm capable of doing very, readily.
You?
No, I'm a quiet man.
Sublime.
Yeah.
I
And
saw that movie with John Wayne.
went out of the office, Sean and Wes. They said, "What?" He said, "What's your name?" I said, "David Hess," and I'm here to do it. And I was just crazy, And Wes looks at me, and looks at Sean, and he says, "You're hired." and then I looked at him, and in this sweet angelic tone, that's the way he tells the story. I said, "Well, what about my music?" It was just a total 180 degree. He says, "No, we'll let you do that too." So they paid me $900 for the role, and $18,000 to do the music. So figure that one out.
18,000, I knew you got rich.
No, we put it all into the film.
He only wanted to know why you did happy music for a shitty
Right, was that
film.
all?
Not how you did it,
Don't
why
ask
you
him no more questions.
Why I did it
don't
was
have enough
because,
time.
it was because,
It was a
Ask her,
creative
she's
place.
because it,
quick.
okay, I didn't hear it.
Not too
So I
Ask
went on.
Marc, he gives you one word answer.
Counterpoint. Counterpoint, I felt, having written a lot of music in my life, I felt that counterpoint would really work well in this kind of a film.
When you have a movie that has the kind of graphic violence that Last House has, the audience as a collective consciousness needs relief. And no matter what you're showing them, the more times you allow them that relief, whether it's through listening to the counterpoint music that David wrote, or the silly scenes with the cops that Wes put in there, it gives the audience a chance to breathe, so that, you know, it's like a roller coaster, so that you can then, you know, grab them again and take them on another horrific ride. If you do...
Most people left by that point. You know, a lot of people left.
Well, the blues, for
Just
instance.
cut off Marc giving his psychological reasoning for this friggin' movie. Continue.
During the rape scene, the blues.
Whip,
That was.
whip, whip.
Shut up.
Marc, finish. I like the big words.
You can tell him.
It's okay.
The conscious. It was a conscious decision. Sadie and Krug was a conscious decision. All that, you know, all the, it was, yeah.
Krug is where Freddy Krueger came from.
And Freddie is
Yeah, that's
me.
not an accident.
And he's Freddy.
That's
So
right. Freddie
there
is
is
me
a-
and Kruger's him. Wes has been remaking this movie since we made it.
That's right.
That's 32 years ago.
And he almost knows how to do it. If you give him $100 million, he can reproduce this movie
Almost.
that we made
Almost.
for $97.50.
60,000. I heard.
Now it cost about $90,000 because Sean charged $30 for his house.
Anybody else?
Anybody else? That's it. We can
What
go.
kind of terms are you on with Sean and Wes, all of you?
Oh,
they
we
call
love
us-
them. They love us.
They
Can't you see
call us
that they're
every picture
here?
that they do. Just we're busy. So
Oh,
we
Wes
work.
is
He's a decent guy.
Wes
No,
is
he's not.
He's an ass.
Sean Cunningham.
I asked him to give me some work. Do you know what he said to me? Send me your reel. So I got a DVD of Last House on the Left and I sent it. Here's my reel, you asshole.
I
Excuse
married
me
Richard
for the
Dreyfuss,
language.
and Sean Cunningham walked into Richard's office one time and took one look at me and canceled his meeting with Richard.
And I just had someone that was gonna put up money to do, not a remake, but a sequel with me coming out of the lunatic asylum with no dick and getting revenge on women. And they were gonna hire all that. In
Yeah,
fact, Marc and David were gonna be the policemen in the movie, tracking me down. And
what happened?
Sean would not give us the rights. And he wouldn't even talk to us. He had his assistant say, oh, we're gonna do that myself.
Mind you, you can see that he's filming.
And I did 4 movies for Sean. And helped him in every single movie that
He
did.
put this whole movie together, Fred did.
Essentially.
I was a stunt man and I kind of knew what I was doing.
did it-
and
we
I helped them, and we used to sit at night. You'll read in the books
We
about
choreographed
Wes,
all our own stunts.
about Wes thinking of what to do. He never thought anything. He just asked us.
The
and we
chainsaw.
showed
Wait.
him.
Whose idea was the chainsaw, Freddie?
Let me do my impression of Wes directing Last House.
Yes, go.
Okay, cut. I mean, that's really that's really the way it was. I mean, he had a view of what he wanted to do because he wrote the script and he was a storyteller and still is a storyteller. But again, I don't say that about him or do that mockingly. I do it in the fact that it was his first film, and he really was kind of, you know, finding his way through the adventure. I mean, I'm a director now, so it was really, and I know what that is. So he was really finding his way through the adventure of what do I do next. And basically, when it's your first film, unless you spend a lot of time on sets, you kind of, you know, what do I do next? And that's what he was doing. We didn't get a whole lot of, you know, kind of a Fremengerian direction.
He was terrified of what was going to happen in the end because he didn't know how to kill us off. And And it was either you or I that came up with the chainsaw. I forgot who it was, but one of us.
We came up with the chainsaw together.
Right.
We showed him how to do it. I came up with her pool thing.
Exactly.
Only because I wanted her to jump in that Petri.
He wanted, for instance, here, dig this. Sean wanted, there was a chainsaw in Sean's garage, so we picked that up and we said, why don't we use this? And Sean said, that's a great idea. We'll have the father attack David. Now let me show you how to do this. So he pulls the chainsaw like this, and he comes at me with the damn chainsaw, you know? And I said, whoa, wait a minute, Sean. No, it's gonna look the same, but why don't you let me, with a chair, attack the chainsaw? That way you may not lose me, you know?
You could have a sequel.
You know? So, oh, that's a good idea. I never thought of it doing that way. So the whole scene is filmed with me attacking the chainsaw, except it looks reversed. And they've copied that technique that we used since that time. I mean, it's been used in hundreds of pictures, where the aggressor is really the person that's being attacked.
And they had the
I don't wanna
wife
blow your films
beating
for
her
you.
in an even fight, and I said,
I
"That's
really hit that
ridiculous."
lady.
I said,
She slugged
she's
her, man.
supposed to be this
I didn't know.
tough street kid. She can't, the wife can't beat her. So I put the thing on her neck and stuck the blood in her
You
breast.
made me
and
die in that.
told her to pull herself out of here, and the wife just goes like this. And then she hits the bag, and all the blood comes out. They cut out the parts where we carved her
Man,
neck.
Marty.
There's the
Hey,
cop.
Marty.
There's
Where?
Marty Kove. He couldn't catch
Holy
us.
shit, would you sign this? Mr. Cove, sir?
Sign my navel.
Oh, my navel! Yes, holy shit!
Marty was the
You
comic
guys,
relief.
you guys know
Marty played
Cove?
himself, incidentally. He's gotten a little smarter since that time, but he played himself.
Marty was Cagney and Lacey.
Marty went on to be a big star.
Rambo.
So,
See that? You made everybody be quiet. They're all in awe because there you are, alive and well.
Oh, wait, are we talking about how much we love the movie? Hated
Yes,
the
we
movie?
are talking about your part, actually.
No.
Yeah,
which was really
that's why
important.
people went to
It was,
see
you
it.
know,
You and
comic
Ada.
relief.
I
Well,
want
how'd
to
you
tell
do
you
that?
guys something. Ada Washington, remember Ada? Who
I
I think is
only-
the
That was
greatest.
Sean's maid.
I only tell you
Sean's
that the road
house.
Yeah,
killed
Sean's
me.
housekeeper.
And she stole the movie.
Stole the chickens too, incidentally.
Any questions?
Yes,
No
right.
questions.
Don't you want to know how much we all made?
Oh,
to do
wait,
the
there's a guy in the back there.
What are you guys working on now?
Ah, we're working on Last House on the Right. Which is a Disney movie. We're not working, what the hell do you think we're doing? We're trying desperately to
Wait a
sell these
second,
stupid
wait a
pictures to
second.
people.
Some of us
Some of us are working.
Some of us are working.